Hi everyone, welcome to the Matter this week. This week we are going to talk about the cross-dressing law, which was held as unconstitutional and therefore void by the Court of Appeal recently. That case has got nothing to do with Islam or Islamic law at all. What happened in that case was that Negri Sembilan state passed a law in 1992, Section 66, which says in Bahasa Malaysia, mana-mana orang lelaki yang memakai pakaian perempuan atau berlagak seperti perempuan di mana-mana tempat awam adalah melakukan satu kesalahan dan hendaklah apabila disabitkan dikenakan hukuman denda tidak melebihi RM1,000 atau penjara selama tempoh tidak melebihi 6 bulan atau kedua-duanya. Now this law was being challenged by three individuals, Muhammad Juzaili, Syukur bin Jani and one Fairul bin Wan Ismail. Let's call them the appellant because they were the one who were appealing to the Court of Appeal. In this case, the appellants, the three individuals just now, have tendered unrebutted evidence which say that transsexuality, or the medical term gender identity disorder, is in fact a disease or a condition. Part of this evidence was given by Dr. Ang Jin Kiat, who was a psychiatrist from the Kuala Lumpur hospital, which is a government hospital. Dr. Ang medical report confirms that the three appellants suffer from a medical condition called gender identity disorder. The desire to dress as a female and to be recognized as a female is in keeping with this condition, and that there is no cure or treatment for this condition. Apart from Dr. Ang's report, there was also a report by a consultant psychiatrist, Dr. Deva Das, who also concluded that GID is not a preference and is ineradicable. And he said, and I wish to quote what he said, the sufferer from this anomaly feels he should have been the other gender, a female spirit trapped in a male body. And we also had an evidence from Professor Teh Yikun, a renowned Malaysian sociologist, who explained that the law, like the cross-dressing law that we're talking about just now, has adverse effect on transsexual in Malaysia. All these experts' evidence were not challenged by the Jabatan Agama, were not challenged by the state of Negri Sembilan. Faced with those kind of evidence, the Court of Appeal held as follows. The evidence furnished by the appellant therefore established that GID is an attribute of the appellant, nature, and they did not choose and cannot change, and that much harm would be caused to them should they be punished for merely exhibiting a manifestation of GID, i.e. cross-dressing. So basically what it means is they are born GID with this condition. It's not as if through their decision they want to be such, and therefore the conclusion is whatever you do to prevent them from behaving as such would be unfair to them, basically. That's what it is. So that is the first aspect of the case, which is overlooked so far. The second aspect, which is more important, is the power of the state to enact that kind of law. Under the Constitution, there are laws which can be enacted by the Parliament. That is what we call the federal list law. Then there is a state list, which of course we call the state list, where the state can enact laws. But the state must always enact law, although the subject matter of the law is contained in the state list, but it doesn't mean the state can enact any kind of law which they like. The law which they enact must still conform or must not be in opposition of the Constitution. If those laws are repugnant to the Constitution or in opposition to the Constitution, then it is void. Those laws are void. So what happened in this case was that it was found that this law, this anti-cross-dressing law, was against the provision in the Constitution which guarantees our freedom and liberty. Freedom of association, equality before the law, freedom of expression, and therefore it was held that that law was unconstitutional, and therefore it is void. It is as simple as that. It's got nothing to do with the civil court trying to transgress Islam or trying to challenge Islam or anything of that sort. So I think the time has come for Malaysians to sit down. We have to look into issues properly from the proper perspective so that we don't become emotional. But having said so, putting legality aside, the question to ponder is, why are we so full of hatred? What has happened to compassion? Why don't we just show a bit of love rather than victimizing them, exposing them to ridicule, and trying to force our values on them? Okay, we need to really think about that. That's it about for this week. Thank you very much.